KARUNGO wants to be the next senator for Kiambu County. He's in the studio with us. Good morning, KARUNGO.
Good morning, Eric.
Good to have you on the show. Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Thank you for having me. And I'm happy to see you, by the way.
Happy to see you too,
Yeah.
man. It's been a while. And it's good to see that you are well, despite all the trials and tribulations that you've gone through,
True.
which is why you're here, to take us through your own trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
Write a book. Are you on the ballot? Are you going to be on the ballot?
Yes, I was cleared yesterday by IEBC, the same CRO who kicked me out on some timing. I don't even remember the date, but yesterday I was cleared after the court compelled IEBC to clear me because they listened to us, and of course they said that I didn't, the tribunal, that is the Dispute Resolution Committee for IBC, was wrong in making a decision that I should be barred from running office. So the court said, yes, I was never removed from office. And of course, IBC erred in saying that I went to IBC out of time, I didn't go during the specific time that they were supposed to clear. But that was the reason why that never happened is because even IEBC itself had never or did not invite me to appear before them during the period they were clearing other candidates. So yesterday was a culmination of a big battle, court battles, and we won. And I can tell the people of Kiambu that, yes, I'm going to be on the ballot. I have my own certificate. I wish I came with it. Just to show the situation.
It's always important to work with your certificates, my friend.
Yeah.
Always important.
Anything can happen.
What was the bone of contention? Why is it that your candidature was in question?
It's all politics. That's what I can say, because those that we are contesting with for the senator of Kiambu County, they have listened to the people of Kiambu. They have seen their resolve for them voting for me as the next senator for Kiambu County. And since they could not catch up with me when we were looking for votes, the only thing that they had to do is to make sure that I'm not on the ballot. And to do that, they had to look for ways which are not even right to kick me out of the ballot. And they said that, yeah, this guy might have been impeached. And I want to tell you that if you look at how let me start from the beginning. Starting from the beginning, meaning I am a former MCA for Kiambu County. That is in Gewa, 2013, 2017. Let me start that journey so that you can walk with me until where I am now. After being an MCA, I ran for Senator of Kiambu in 2017. Things went the way they went. I don't want to go back there. So within a period of after the 2017 election, I stayed out of government doing my own private things up to 2018. That is when Waitito Babayao, who was voted for as a governor then, gave me a job as a CEC 1 year after they had already been in government. So within that period, I was given a job as a road minister, if I can say that. But 2 days after I was appointed a road minister, I was taken to the youth ministry. So the youth ministry, I worked there for about a year before I left office. So it was within that period that, politics in Kiambu County, Kiambu is dynamic and there's a lot of politics in that. So people started agitating the removal of Waitito. And for me, knowing that the governor is the head of the county, he's the appointing authority, of course, I had to work under his instructions. And so whenever he was, I could be seen, I was there. So they started saying, hey, this guy is seen to be supporting Waitito when nobody else is.
He's Waitito's right-hand man.
Yeah, they started saying that. So, and for me, I wasn't supporting Waitito for who he is. I was supporting Waitito for who I am, because I am a person who believes in the rule of law. So even if anybody wants to remove somebody from office, you have to use the channels that are there. You have to be a just person when you're doing that. So within that period, they said, okay, before we get to Waitito, we have to get to his people. Just the way the Jubilee government did to the leader of majorities in the houses, leader of majority in the Senate. They started the same at the Kiambu County Assembly. So they started by removing the leader of majority in Kiambu County. Then they said, okay, the right-hand man for Waitito is this young man. We need to remove him. And they came with just bizarre allegations. All right? So when that happened, they said they are going to remove me from office. And they said, I'm being partisan in politics. They said, I am not doing my work. Remember, I wasn't even 1 year in office. I was not even actually implemented much. Because you see, when you're in the county government, the budget has been passed, because I joined sometimes in July after somebody's budget was passed. So I had not even implemented much in the county government. So they said, we are going to remove you from office. They started the process.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this guys looks like they're serious. And they started coming to my office. No, for you not to remove you from office, you need to give us something. And I look at a salary of a CEC, it's about 185,000. Okay. So about 92 MCAs, even if you would want to.
Want something.
Even if you'd want to give them something to save yourself, it's not affordable.
So you are not able to, and so they voted you out.
No, let me get there. So when they started the process, I had to rush to court to stop them. And the court gave an order stopping the County Assembly of Kiambu County from removing from office and stopping the governor from dismissing me once the assembly passes the motion. So, of course, because the politics was on high gear, the assembly disobeyed the court order. They went ahead with the purported removal. And with this purported removal, I want to tell you the reason why, and I'll get to that point. Let me put it down so that I remember that. The Speaker of Kiambu County is Speaker Stephen Dishu, who disobeyed the court order. Why did he obey the court order? Because he's an interested party. We ran as a senator with him in 2017, and he was running as senator this 2022. Okay? So he had seen that clause that if you are removed from office,
You cannot.
you cannot run. So he disobeyed the court order, thinking that he will take me home forever, so that he can have a clear way. So this is a scheme that started
So bottom line,
from
Karungo,
a long time ago.
the County Assembly of Kiambu
Yes.
sat and they voted to remove the CEC for youth and information then.
Yes, against the court order.
Against the court order.
Yes.
This decision of the County Assembly was transmitted to the office of the governor.
Yes.
What did the governor do then?
Okay. Article 40 of the County Government Act says that after the censure motion is done at the County Assembly, the clerk or the speaker writes to the governor. The governor is supposed to dismiss. Okay? But when it got to the governor said, no, I have a court order here telling me I cannot dismiss this young man. All right? And you, the assembly, you also acted in contempt of the court. He actually highlighted that. And so I stayed in office,
For how
drawing salary for 3 more months.
Okay.
Okay? Because that was about October. So I stayed there November, December. I left in January 29th. So how did I leave in January 29th? Waitito was impeached or removed from office by the Senate on 29th of January 2020. Okay? So what does the law say? The Constitution of Kenya, Article 179(7), says that when there is a vacancy in the office of the governor, the cabinet ceases to hold office. Okay? So I went home with Waitito. Not just me, the 10 of us. So unless they were saying that when you impeach Waitito, you have impeached me by extension. Okay? But was a law that said you have to go home with the cabinet.
The incoming governor did not take any action to remove you from office.
None whatsoever. I've never worked under Nyoro, the current governor of Kiambu County, because he had to appoint a new cabinet.
Okay.
And this new cabinet,
he did not appoint you.
He did not appoint me. Of course, he could not stand me. He could not do that.
Did Sonko do the same thing when he was impeached? Did we see, for example, people like Charles Kerich
His cabinet
going home with him?
Yeah, I'm not very sure about Nairobi because I didn't follow that much. But what happened in Kiambu County, or what the law says, is that the cabinet ceases to hold office. So the new governor is supposed to appoint new CECs. And that's what Kiambu governor did, but he retained 7 of my former colleagues.
There was a vacancy in the office of governor of Bomet
Yeah.
following the passing on of the governor.
Yeah.
The deputy governor assumed office. The deputy governor had to take action on the CECs himself.
Yes.
They did not go home with the death of the governor.
Yes.
So I don't know what is there a different vacancy here we were talking
No,
about?
no, no. If people follow
Why
the law,
did you leave office with Governor Babayao when all the other CECs in places where we've seen the vacancy? In Nyeri, there was a vacancy, the death of a governor. In Bomet, death of a governor. In Nairobi, impeachment of a governor. We didn't see CECs going home.
if they never left office, they are there illegally. Because the law is very clear that if there is a vacancy, and it does not say which kind of vacancy, whether death, whether removed from office, whether resignation, if there is a vacancy. So if they never went, then somebody need to look back and say that those people could have been there illegally. But for the case of Kiambu, they were vetted again at the county assembly. So you are CEC today for road, Governor Waitito goes home, you go home with him. Governor Nyoro comes, appoints you again as a CEC for road, you have to go to the assembly again for vetting. That is the law. And then you go back to your docket. And that's what happened. So there was no impeachment. I was never removed from office. And that's what the court found.
So it would seem that in this flow of events, according to what you're saying, that somebody then is extremely vested in wanting to have you off the ballot.
Yes.
Why would that be?
Because you see, when they see you're the front runner, and when they listen to the ground, as we say, and hear how people are determined to vote for me because they believe my win was stolen in 2017. Our win was stolen in 2017. So there is of this time round, whatever happens, they will have to vote for me. So when those opponents realized that, they took me to court. And who took me to court? Is one of the party in Kenya Kwanza. One of the senators in Kenya Kwanza took me to court, wanted me to be removed from office. This party, CCK, the party for Moses Kuria. And nobody was talking about it. And I decided that I'm not going to use politics to fight for my right. I'm going to use the right channels. Actually, this is the first time I'm speaking about it. That the one of my opponent, and we even mentioned that in court, we said this is not a matter of public interest. It's a matter of an individual who wants to remove competition. So when they took me to court, and I'm happy that the 3-judge bench threw away that case by saying it was premature. And then they left me with IEBC. Because at IEBC, there was no complainant. There was no accuser. It was just IEBC on their own motion. Okay? I hear the law, you know, I've learned a lot of law. They say suo moto. On their own motion, they decide to remove me from the ballot. So I went to the tribunal to accuse the CRO. Then the tribunal, of course, the tribunal could not have said anything different, because IBC has declined to clear me. Then I go report to IEBC. I mean, I wasn't expecting justice from IEBC. They are the judge, they are the lawyers, they are the prosecutors. So I was actually happy when I was done with IEBC, and I went to High Court. So the High Court, after hearing us, they also commented on the same. IEBC, you cannot be a judge of your own cause. All right. So, and I'm very sure that they were in cahoots. Those people wanted to remove me from office with some people at IEBC. And I'm saying that those are some of the reforms we'll be calling for when it comes to the Director of Legal Affairs at IEBC.
So very clearly, the reasons why IEBC gave you as to why they could not clear you was because they said you had previously been removed from office by way of impeachment.
They were not clear.
Okay.
What they said after we approached the CRO, after looking at our documents, looking at our certificates from the EACC everything was okay from the proposer to the seconder, the banker's check that we were supposed to do. But when we were just about to be cleared, he receives a call. And we could see it. It's written Director Legal Affairs because we were live. We like doing things in a transparency manner. From that call, everything changed. So they wrote on my Form 16 that we have returned your forms pursuant to Article 75 of the Constitution. And also a presser by the chairman, Chebukati.
Okay.
And we asked, okay, Article 75 talks about that if you're removed from office, you cannot run for any other state office. So I asked the CRO, was I removed from office? He says, I don't know. Okay, assuming I was removed from office, which one? I've worked as a broadcaster, I've worked as an MCA, I've worked as a CEC, I've worked in so many other companies and corporates. So which one are we talking about here? I don't know. All right? So from that, you can clearly see somebody was trying to remove me from the ballot, even within or inside IEBC. And after that, after the court cleared and said they gave a compelling order, that one did not even require me from going for another clearance. A compelling order, I just appear myself, put me in there. You had looked at the document. So I went there on Friday after the court gave us an order on Wednesday. On Thursday, we retrieved the order. I went there on Friday. When we were just settled again for clearance, another call comes. And they tell me we cannot clear you. Why? The person on the phone said that I leave my office, I talk to him first. I said, no, you're not leaving. You either clear me now, or you say the reason, or you say whatever you're saying in writing. Then the CRO told me, let's go to Nairobi. We had to follow the CRO from Thika all the way to Nairobi to see that legal director. And when we got there, he's not there. So the CRO, after waiting there for about 2 hours, he's missing in action.
CRO, who is that exactly?
CRO is called the county returning officer.
Returning officer.
Yeah.
I see.
This is the person who will declare the final result for the Senate.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
In the county.
Yes.
Let's take a break on this note. KARUNGO THANG'WA is the candidate for Kiambu Senator. He is here with us in the studio. You're on which party?
UDA, the People's Party.
He is a UDA candidate for Senator Kiambu County. He's telling us what he's been going through. We want to understand. So, KARUNGO THANG'WA left, KARUNGO THANG'WA right. Why always you? What is it? I mean, what's so special about you that you have to go through all these processes?
Yeah.
As we take this break, we have to remind everybody that, yes, we are going into an election in about 26 days. It's about election bila noma. Your neighbor today will be your neighbor after the election. Whether your neighbor belongs to your tribe or they don't, whether they are married to somebody from your tribe or they are not, it doesn't matter. Their choice is their choice just as much as your choice is your choice, right?
Indeed. People that you hang out with on a daily basis, people that you interact with, people that you trade with today will still be the person that you trade with, interact with, love, care for after the 9th of August. So that must be remembered in the events of elections.
Indeed. The bottom line, Penda Jirani.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Ndu Oko, CT Muga, Eric Latif, our guest this morning, is KARUNGO THANG'WA. He is the UDA candidate for Kiambu Senator seat. We are live on SpiceFM around the country, 94.4 in Nairobi, 96.0 in Nakuru, 96.9 in Nyeri. Kisumu is 102.5, Malindi 97.7, Mombasa 87.9, Eldoret 96.7. We also transmit the show to the world, www.spicefm.co.ke. On Facebook, we are on SpiceFM KE, that's our page. On YouTube, we are on SpiceFM KE. We are live on KTN Home. We are live on KTN News as we have this conversation. KARUNGO, the issue that was being fronted against you was about integrity.
Yes.
Do you believe that somebody who has integrity questions should be allowed to vie in an election? Not you, just your belief and your principles.
It's not my belief, it's the law. And the law says exactly that. If you have an integrity question, you're not supposed to run for office. And I agree with that. But the question is, are you? You know, even the law says if you have a traffic offense, you'll be fined this amount. The question is, did you jump that light? So I think the best thing for us to do is to find the processes or how we're going to be for sure knowing that that particular person lacks integrity. Because if you look at impeachment, it's a political process. And you know, it's because probably you are not in good terms with the political of today. So if somebody says they're going to remove you from office through integrity, because of lack of integrity, when did MPs become investigators? When did MCAs become investigators? So the best thing is for us to make sure that we do have those bodies that are mandated to find out whether you lack integrity. That is EACC. And when the EACC is allowed to do its work without weaponizing that fight against corruption or fight against any other thing, I believe we can give people justice. Because when you say MCA is removing you, can you imagine that if this process went the way they had planned, that means I'll never run for office in this country forever and ever. I mean, you're bashed. It's like the whole country getting you to the border and telling you bye-bye. Go, we don't want you.
Karungo, you've served as an MCA.
Yes.
For 5 years.
Yes.
In the County Assembly of Kiambu.
Yeah.
Okay? Now you want to go to the Senate.
Yes.
Those two bodies deal with that impeachment question that we're talking about.
Yes.
Are you saying that the power to impeach should be removed from these two institutions?
We just want to broaden that kind of process. And I actually have an answer to that. And sometimes I believe maybe God was putting me through this so that when we go to the Senate, we are able to make laws that not necessarily favor the politician, but for the interest of the counties. Because if you impeach a governor by the MCAs, he goes to the Senate. That governor was voted for by Jubilee. But you find other senators from ODM, other parties that never support you, saying that your governor should also go home. So I think the best thing is that we add a third tier. Of course, we have to put that issue of removal from office for governors, but because it's a political process. So that when the MCAs remove you from office, you go to the Senate. When the Senate removes you or ratify that decision by the MCA, we go to the third tier, which is the people. And if you look at Article 90 of the County Government Act, it says a county can have a mini referendum. So meaning, if the governor is removed by the Senate, the people are told now it's up to you to vote and say yes or no, whether you should go home. Because that is political. Okay? And that is what should happen. So that people look at this process and say, okay, I cannot bring malice in here. I cannot just look at this young man and say he should go home. So that we can give people the opportunity to say we had voted for this governor. Now we have had what he has done. Because it's only people vote where you are thief or not.
So, Mashima, at what point should the people or a referendum be held?
At the last
process?
point. At the last point.
So when all the
County Assembly, Senate,
To
and
the Senate.
then
The way it
the
is
people.
as today. You send it to the Senate.
and then
If
now
the Senate
people
says that
vote.
he should go home, now IEBC kicks in, forms a mini referendum in the county, and the county should now vote again to say, yes, this governor should go home or not. But I'm not trying to say that I'm protecting governors. What I'm trying to say is we want to remove malice from the politicians. Because a politician can just hate the way you walk. You know, in Kirinyaga, they wanted to impeach a speaker because of chewing gum. Can you imagine you are bashed forever in your entire life? You'll never work anywhere because you are chewing gum and probably in the chamber.
Okay, so I mean, even as we look at this, Karungo, at the time that you served, where this, kerfuffle could have taken place,
Yes.
was under a governor whom today
Yes.
then is in court facing very many charges,
Yes.
corruption being one of them. Is there any possibility that any of that stain would have made its way to your character?
Of course, yes. You know, sometimes you are prejudiced by association. And actually, I was not really happy when my case again was put together with Sonko. You know, because people have already put their They have already decided.
Banded you together.
Yeah, so they've already decided to, who is Sonko to them. So here comes somebody they have never had in this country, probably. And then even the people of Kiambu had for the first time that I was removed from office. And when you're put together with somebody they have followed, then they tend to agree. Okay, so sometimes you get prejudiced by association, but for that, because for me, I know the MCAs wanted to remove me from office because I'm very convinced, and I know deep down, I never misappropriated any fund because a CEC is not the accounting officer. I never did any corrupt deal because the CEC, again, is not an accounting officer. So with that conviction that a whole assembly of 92 people can sit down and discuss me as a person, saying that I've stolen, knowing deep down I have not, so then I have to second guess them on the issue of Waitito and the issue of Sonko. You have to second guess them. Because if that can happen, but to finish that point, that's why we are saying, that's why we need EACC, so that they can go and investigate. Because you see, investigation is, if you said you are corrupt, how did you get corrupt? And that's what I'm saying, EACC is doing its work. But when it comes to impeachment, that is political.
Mheshimiwa, I have to ask this question because you are not the only CEC in Kiambu.
Yeah.
Why you? Because this is a lot of attention being focused on one individual.
Yes.
And yet there were other MCAs, there were other CECs. Why you?
Yes. They say when a man is driving their father's car, they are not entitled to sit in a council of men who own bicycles.
I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is that they have already seen this person, the path he has taken politically. They have already looked at this gentleman, looking at how I carried myself in 2017. 2017, I was voted for as an independent candidate with an overwhelming 250,000 votes as an independent candidate in the backyard or at the backyard of Uhuru Kenyatta, who had Jubilee. So this young man here,
the person who won, how many votes did they get?
They got about 700 and something.
But you are an independent
But
candidate.
I was independent. I want to say I got 250,000. There's 250,000 people who never listened to the Jubilee Party, who never listened to Uhuru Kenyatta, who never listened to Governor Waitito and all the other MPs who ran. So, and since they know at the nomination, because I want to take you back to the nomination of Jubilee, they say I got 178,000 votes. What did Wamatangi get? 206,000, a difference of about 26,000. An MCA versus a senator who was in the kitchen cabinet of the president. So you can imagine the amount of support I had in that Kiambu County. So because they understand that I have support, and again, I'm not on their side, on the right side, if they would want to call it that. I'm not in Jubilee. I remember before Jubilee closed down the registration of people moving from one party to another, I received so many calls from Jubilee telling us, Vuka Sakafu, come to our side. They were even promising a lot of money. But I was saying, for me, I'm not a person who sells my soul. Okay? I have to stand with what I believe.
But this is politics.
No. For me, sometimes I say I'm not even a politician. I'm just a person, a leader within the political dispensation.
I mean, what I'm asking is, when somebody changes political affiliations, how is that selling your soul? All you've done is moved from one group to another.
You'll be written in the books of history as a man who lacks decorum, loyalty, or somebody who has no stand if you keep moving from one side to another. For me, my conscience cannot allow me to just make this decision today and another decision tomorrow.
Maybe
because I want my
KARUNGO,
people, those who are looking up to me.
The Service Party.
Yes.
You were in the Service Party.
Yes.
Now you are in UDA.
Yes.
You were in Jubilee.
Yes.
You are independent.
Yes.
Those are 4 different decisions that you made.
But you see, you're right on that one.
Since 2017.
But what I'm trying to say is, in all those, I was where the people are.
There's
Okay.
There's a little difference.
No. In all this, I was where my people wanted to be. Okay. I cannot leave my people and go to the other side. Even in TSP, when we started TSP, because it came before UDA, when we started, we are forming a vehicle for our Deputy President, William Ruto, to come and be the presidential candidate. It's only that things never went well inside there. Then UDA was formed. So I was like, if I was forming this for my president, I better be where my president is.
But you know, Mheshimiwa, what we're trying to say here is that I don't think the voters will actually judge you in this country in which party you belong to. Because these parties come and go so often, half the time you're actually confused as to which is which. There was this, there was the other, and there is hardly any political player, irrespective of what level of politics they're involved in, who hasn't changed parties. I'm simply trying to say that when you talk about you, the individual, and the people who support you, makes sense. And what you're saying is that people follow the person to the party. So it's not the party that is determining whether you are elected or not.
It's actually the other way around.
People follow the party?
It's actually, no. It's actually the other way around.
party follows the people.
In the sense that this party are made of members. Okay? So when you have members, and you can see ODM has this amount of numbers, UDA is the most popular party in the country, they have followers and they have members. So I'm giving this example because when I was in TSP, I tried to register people to join my party, then TSP. Okay? When you go to the people, they're telling me, okay, we will vote for you. You just stay where you are. Let us stay in our own party. They used to tell me that. And I was convinced. Then I realized, what if somebody comes to where they are? And they say, okay, you never came to where we are. You just stay there. Now we have our own who came to where we are, who believes in what we believe in. So that's why you move from one place to another. But as I'm saying, if I tell you today I'm going to be here because I believe in UDA, unless anything tragic happens, it is my work to make sure that I stand with my belief. I stand with what UDA stands for, that is a bottom-up model, and I stand with what my people stand for. So it's not a matter of convenience. It's not a matter. If you look at me, I stood, and I told you here at the beginning of the show, I stood with Waitito not for who he is, but who I am. Because I could have decided, like the others, to play safe and stay in office and get reappointed again. But I said, if these people can remove me from office or can try to remove me from office, probably, and I know deep down I haven't done anything, probably it's the same thing on the other side. So even the Bible says, I was in prison. You never came to see me. You know? So stand with this person who everybody is bashing. And that's what I will stand, that's what I'll do with the people of Kiambu. When somebody says something wrong about Kiambu people, I'll be there. I'll be there to stand with them. So the issue of moving from one party to another, there are those who just want to be on the right side of, the dynamics. But for us, we say, this is why we built this party UDA, and this is not the time to rush.
So as a political body, the county assembly is consuming information data, right? So it's consuming reports. It has the committees that are looking at how the county executive is working. It's constantly consuming information. It's approving budgets. It's looking at how the budgets are being implemented. The County Assembly of Kiambu looked at those issues and they raised concern about your former governor. And they said, we have issues here about our governor. Those were confirmed at the Senate. Beyond that, as you talk about the other bodies, the EACC, the EACC has gone to court, in fact, even applying for the freezing of $1 billion shillings plus in the accounts of your former governor. Don't you see like there's a correlation? Maybe the MCAs were actually right.
Yeah, probably. I'm not just saying they were wrong. I'm just giving an example of my case, okay? So what happens to you, what's good for the goose is good for the duck. So I was just looking into that scenario and we stop there. But on the issue of EACC and the MCAs, that is a matter in court. That is a matter that the EACC will have to prove. If they find that for sure he had done all those things, follow the law, jail the fella. Okay? If that's what the law says, just do it. But castigating people for the political benefit of a few, that is what we are trying to stop.
So what will you do? If you go to Senate, let's say the people of Kiambu actually elect you,
Yes.
and you go to the Senate.
They're going to vote for me.
And
Yeah.
there's a case that is brought before you, not from Kiambu County, but from any other county government on the impeachment of a certain governor. How will you handle it?
Actually, I've handled that before because being an MCA for 5 years, I've done that. We actually put Governor Kabogo on his toes when it comes to politics. But when everything happens at the county assembly, there's an auditor general who comes and audits and tells you we do not know where 100 million went to. You can't know as an MCA from thin air. Okay? So we need the auditor general to do his work. Then after the auditor general, there is a committee that of the assembly that's called Pick and Pack that now calls the CECs to come and explain where this money went to. They can tell you probably we never provided the pro forma or we never provided the LPO, so that's why. But here is the LPO. Or probably they'll say we don't know where. Now that's when the assembly is supposed to write to the EACC and tell EACC we have found out that, help us with investigation, further investigation. Because as a politician and as an MCA, when you ask governors for information, some of them don't give you. They don't give you the information. Okay? They collude with their chief officers and you are left there. So that's why EACC is there. So that they can compel now the governors, kindly provide this kind of information. So if they vote me as a senator of Kiambu County, of which I believe they will, one thing is to call out any information that you have that the governor could be misappropriating fund. And that is calling for investigations. All right? When you call for investigations, the bodies that are mandated to do that are supposed to take action. Point number 2, as senator, you're also supposed to be the voice of the people. When you see the governor is not doing what he's doing, you step in and you're the voice of the people. You have to tell the governor you have to stop. For example, when I was an MCA, the governor of Kiambu then, Kabogo, moved the headquarters from Kiambu town where they were gazetted to Thika. I mean, as an MCA, you don't impeach because of that issue. You compel the governor to do that through the assembly and through the people. Because this is political. People will understand we made the wrong choice, or maybe this is not the right governor. So they will start seeing the governor in a different kind of scenario. But not saying that because you did not move the county, you should go home. No, it is for people to know. And we help people make that decision. And that's why in 2017, he was nowhere to be seen. Because people had seen this is not the right person. But when you go back, people change. Hata tukienda kanisani, somebody say nimeokoka. All right? People change. So probably right now that he's running, he has learned from his mistakes. He probably will tell his people that. But we need to give people an opportunity to defend themselves. Because what you say you think is right could be also wrong on the other side. Or what the other person think could also be wrong on the other side.
Actually, I would agree with you there because you are a testimony of somebody pushing for their rights and actually ending up with what you had been fighting for.
Yes.
But you know, there's a question I asked you.
Ask me.
Why you?
Why me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just listening. It's a torturous journey.
Yeah.
It's by the time somebody who is a director in charge of legal affairs in an organization like IEBC targeting you.
Yes. Let me tell you why me. If I wasn't running for senator, you couldn't have had any of this. Yes. If I was not running for political office, you couldn't have had any of this. If I was running on Jubilee ticket, you couldn't have had any of this.
You wouldn't have heard any of this what? You wouldn't have heard that maybe your name would have been mentioned
Yes.
in corrupt practices. You wouldn't have heard that maybe there was an impeachment that actually wasn't an impeachment. You wouldn't have heard any of this. It would not have been a bone of contention if you had not put your name in the race for Senator of Kiambu County.
Yes, because they are fighting me to remove me from the ballot. So if I wasn't there, nobody could have come and bring all this up? And why did it come so many years after I left office? Yeah, I left office in 2020 January. Have you ever heard of this? No. Nobody went to court. Nobody did anything. But when I want to run for Senate and they do their opinion polls and see I am the most popular candidate in Kiambu County, thank to God, they want to remove me so that now they can get this opportunity.
So what you're saying is that there's a concerted effort by more than one person. They have colluded.
Yes, of course.
So which groupings are these that have colluded? Who are these who have colluded? You've said there are people who are opposed to you.
Yes.
So you're saying your competitors have agreed to oppose you.
Probably not all of them. Not all of them. I singled out one. I said the senator for Chama Chakazi, whose party leader is Moses Kuria, is a person who took me to court, wanted me removed from the ballot.
The candidate.
So you can see he's removing competition. Okay? He is removing competition. Point number 2, Jubilee with their candidate who ran for Limuru 3 times without getting anything, they thought if they remove me, then he will get an opportunity.
Were they also in court?
That is, you see, not everybody. They were colluding, some of them.
So one went to court.
One went to court.
On behalf of the other.
Yeah, on behalf of the other.
So it's true what City is saying.
Not all of them.
Your
There are
opponents
some,
have ganged up.
Yeah, but not all of them. I've singled out those 2. And also, and I want to mention this, even in my party UDA, you know the proverbial hyena that follows the person thinking the hand will just drop off. Even in my party, there are those who are not happy. Okay? So, and I know, it's only that we don't want to mention them at this particular time. We will write a book about all the intrigues that happened. They thought, even when I'm not there, because when I was in court, they were writing letters.
Why would UDA want their candidate out of the ballot?
No, not UDA. I'm not saying UDA.
So
I'm coming to that point.
The people in UDA that you accuse.
I'm coming to that point. Not the UDA. There are few characters, and I had told you that
members of.
I had told you that the speaker Ndishu, who disobeyed the court order, was also running for senator. So there were some who are writing letters saying this guy has been stopped from running, let's do a replacement. Let's do a replacement. They wrote letters. Okay. But I want to tell you, if it were not for the Deputy President, William Ruto, if it were not for him as our party leader, saying that we are not replacing KARUNGO until he exhausts all manners of appeal. He had even told a meeting, even if we were to lose this candidate in Kiambu County, we have to show the young people that we will give them a chance for them to fight for their rights and to fight for justice. So that is how I got saved. If it was any other presidential candidate or any other party leader, I don't know what could have happened. KARUNGO. I could have just been removed. Some of them were even agitating people in the village, telling people, do maandamano kidogo hapa, say KARUNGO must be replaced. But he said, let him fight till the Supreme Court.
Mheshimiwa, we could argue that you're doing the same thing for your opponents. You're using this platform that you now have to point fingers and say, how are it is these people.
No.
Yes, KARUNGO, let's end the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us. As you go back home, as you're going to campaign, the message is about peace.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Election bila noma.
Yes.
Penda jirani. Advocate for peace and champion peace. Pass a peace message to your constituents who are listening and watching you this morning.
Yeah. Mine is to say that, of course, I've been a very peaceful person. You have never seen me in any commotions when it comes to politics. So I urge everybody, whoever is campaigning and whoever is supporting any political leader, to do so in a way that will maintain peace and promote peace. And I want to leave you with just one point that Philippines 2:4. Let each of you look out not only for his own interest, but also for the interests of others. So make sure.
Continues, consider others better than yourself.
Yes, of course. Yes.